Good evening and welcome to Virginia's Views and Vibes. I'm your host, Ginny Gardner. Today we're talking about Memorial Day and the impact it has on all of us. And we'll be talking about Vietnam. And on that subject, I'd like to read you a memorial for Richard Joseph Forte. Each Memorial Day, we pay tribute to those who died in war serving this country. In Newton, the American Post 440 family, the auxiliary, the Sal's, we place wreaths on bridges and memorial stones around the city. We honor the men and women from Newton that made the ultimate sacrifice for their country. I have the honor of offering prayer and laying a wreath at many of these services. I think we all do the same thing. We honor the name carved in the stone. We often look at the name, the date, do the math, and calculate the age when this person was killed, and hopefully offer a prayer. But what is behind the stone, the wall, or the plaque? What is the untold story? There's a family, a story, a life cut short, a story that ends with emptiness in their heart and that time will never heal. One of the families was the Forte family in Newton. In 1920, Nicola and Concetta Forte left Benvenuto, Italy, to begin a new life. They started their life in Newton, and with them came the legacy of love, generosity, wavering devotion to family, and their new adopted country. Nicole and Coletta worked very hard and started a family. They had their son, Pasquale. He graduated from Newton High School and married Lucy Botari. Together they had 4 children, Nick, Richard, Guy, and daughter Lori. Their oldest son, Nick, was married, and his wife was expecting their second child. Richard had just graduated from Newton High School and was accepted into Northeastern and Boston University for engineering, and he was engaged to be married. Suddenly, something changed his mind. He believed, as many of us did, to stop communism, fight for freedom, fight to preserve the American dream, and this compelled him to enlist in the Army. His brother, Guy, recalls the following. The day was September 18th, 1968. Richie was leaving for Vietnam. He said, "My heart ached, and I remember thinking, this could be the last time I see my brother. Something made me go back for one last goodbye. I reached to shake his hand, and he pulled the back of my neck towards him and gave me a kiss on my forehead. He told me he loved me. I left for school, and I don't think my tears stopped until I arrived at Newton High. I was 15 years old. Richard wrote home often. His letter told the horrors of war. He wrote this, "God has kept me hard and brave so far. I pray God keeps me that way for the rest of my tour. It can be rough to see your buddies blown to bits." 3 months later, 1 month before his 21st birthday, on December 23rd, 1968, Richard was killed in action. For the Forte family, life was never the same. Rich's death had a profound, lasting effect on his family. Rich's dad never got over this tragedy. His son Guy says he was a changed man. Richie's mom became very quiet. The unimaginable pain of losing a child brought an emptiness where happiness once reigned. Their son, their child, was gone forever. And today, after almost 58 years, there is still an unmistakable sadness when Rich's brother Guy speaks of this painful and heartbreaking part of his life. I look differently at the names on the stone now. Richard, like thousands of others, made the ultimate sacrifice for our country and us. Freedom to preserve the American dream, to defend the Constitution, to fight communism. We owe the life we have today to our brave American military and men like Richard Joseph Forte. his name and others etched forever in the stone that must never be forgotten. And that is one of the people from Newton that was killed in Vietnam. Tonight, I'd like to introduce my friend and a Vietnam vet, Kevin McNamara. Kevin,
Hello,
welcome.
Jenny. Hello.
Welcome.
Happy to be
Glad
here.
you're here. Memorial Day is coming up on the 24th. Talk about a little of what you do to make Memorial Day stay in everyone's heart and minds.
Well, I try to explain to my grandchildren, my family. Sometimes we'd go into the high schools, speak to the kids about freedom, and what freedom means to me and my friends and my colleagues down at the Post 440. Some of the veterans down there, we remind ourselves that we have to do these things in the schools and talk to the children to let them know that these men that you see in these pictures are the Vietnam 58,400 and some odd past. They were people just like the people that lived in your neighborhood, people that played, rode their bicycles down the street. They had their birthdays and liked baseball and football. And then when the call came and the draft was big in the 1960s, the call came and they went. In the case of Richard Forte, I believe he enlisted.
He did.
Yes. A lot of men did enlist, as they did in the Iraqi War or the different wars we've had. Men have enlisted and felt the call to go and do that duty. My feeling was I was kind of a long-haired hippie guitar playing guy, and I didn't want to go in the service, but it was the 60s, and I was in Newton North High School in 1964 through 67, and they were drafting 30,000 men, maybe women, but mostly men. In those days, and they needed 30,000 a month. So I was picked. A year after that, they had a lottery, but that was I was over in Vietnam at the time. Yeah. I feel like I want to keep it alive, to let people know that with all technology and all the fast living that we do, and the computers, and we can multitask and all that, we're being pulled away from a lot of the things that made in the 60s and 50s the religion and the backbone of what this country is all about. Not just religion, but we were simplified. We didn't have all the money and the cars and the televisions and so forth. We had little transistor radios, and we liked rock and roll. But even a short time when I was in Vietnam, we had little transistor radios. And we had one station in Vietnam, radio station. And there was the Armed Forces radio station. And we used to listen to that, even when we were sleeping in our hooches, which was a tent with sandbags all around us. Oh my God. It was always higher than if you were sleeping down here, if we got rocketed, because the area I was in was rocketed a lot. Mortars or rocket, small arms. And we would be higher if we were sleeping than we'd be sleeping down here. Yeah. So it gave us an opportunity to save ourselves. But the weather and the camaraderie ship that you had with these, like this gentleman here, James McMahon, I've done some research on a lot of the fellows that did die in Vietnam, in Newton. There's 24 of them. I was told 23, and then I did some more research, and I found there was another man, 24. And I believe that when I talk to the families, it does resurrect the moment that they were told that their loved one died. And I was going to put this to bed. I didn't want to do it because I felt like I didn't want to bring up these sad moments. I know when I came home, I was only 20 years old. And I remember going through California, and and there were a lot of policemen made a line for us to walk through to get off the plane from overseas. And I didn't think anything about it. There were a lot of people there saying things, but I didn't really care. I wanted to get home, get a connecting flight to Logan. And I came home a week early. My mother didn't know that. And I got off from Logan. I took a T to Riverside. Riverside. And I walked home with my duffel bag. I was going to thumb, but I said, no, I'm going to walk. I walked in the house and I dropped my duffel bag. And my mother turned around and she fainted.
Oh my
and she had oxygen up her nose. And if I had come home the week later, she wouldn't have been here. She died 3 days later.
Oh my God.
So I was happy that that happened. But my mother saw me come home, whereas these gentlemen, these 24, they did not come home. And their memory lives on in Memorial Day, and what we do go to the cemeteries in honor of veterans and so forth, to give them, just to realize that these young kids, whether it be the Second World War, Korea, wars are wars, and mothers cry, fathers, they don't live the same as they did. I've sat down with some of these fellas that were injured seriously bad over at the VA hospital. And we put Memorial Day and Veterans Day, we put close to 200 flags on the bridges to honor the veterans and let them know that we are always there. There'll always be veterans to protect this country. We have about 3,500,000 people under arms in this country to protect 350 million people. Yeah. That's it. But we have technology much more than we had back in the day when I was overseas. When Ginny asked me to come in tonight, I was trying to find out what I would speak about. And I guess that Vietnam, the mothers and fathers that used to get their letters home, I remember my job was transmitting intelligence reports to the intelligence with Morse code. And I did that for a while, and then I ended up setting up my own radio system. So, and we're in the field out near Cambodian border. And my little hut that I had, I could communicate with Okinawa.
Really?
And we used to talk to Okinawa, and from there, they would pick up a telephone and call the U.S. And they would break into a person's, call them at their home. And my job was to connect the guys in the field and my colleagues, my buddies, to talk to their mothers and fathers.
Really?
And it always ended up crying.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
The love that these people showed each other.
yeah.
My mother was the type of person that she would burst out crying. And I couldn't even tell her I loved her because she would cry all the time. So it brings back the memories like that. So, Jenny.
I'm going to kind of talk for a minute.
Yep.
And then I remember, nice kid from Armadillo, you knew him too, Ricky Likely. And I remember him, like you said, on his bicycle, going down to Weir's Cove,
Yeah.
riding the trails back there, and just, we were all kids. It was a whole different world, a totally different world, because now they're like this with the cell phones and, connected to technology at all times. But I want you to tell the story about the song, Lay a Little Lovin' on Me. You were listening to it.
Well, all around us, we were in a base camp. And my friend who was manning a big weapon, looking out over this village, I had a little transistor radio, and if I was off my work or my duty or whatever mission, I could go out and speak with my buddies. And I brought out some sodas and a couple of beers, but he wasn't doing that. And I had the radio, and the Armed Forces radio station was one station, just one Armed Forces radio station, out of Saigon. What happened was my brother Robin was in Hayer on Broadway.
Right.
He had a song called Lay a Little Lovin' on Me in 1970. It was produced and recorded. I was sitting in the bunker, and I heard his radio, on the little radio, my brother's song.
You recognized it was your brother immediately?
Yeah, because he told me he was making one, and he gave me a demo. I heard the demo just before I left, so I knew that was him. But he sounded like a girl on the radio. So the disc jockey, the Armed Forces disc jockey, said, doesn't she have a good voice? She's from Boston, Massachusetts. So me being the ability to have landline, I was able to call through a couple of people I knew to get to Saigon. And they put me through to the radio station. And I said to the woman that answered the phone, can you put me through to the DJ that just ran that song, Lay a Little Lovin' on Me? That's my brother, not a girl. She said, oh, I'm sorry. She put me right through. And the head DJ at the time was Pat Sajak on Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, my God.
So the song had some serious meaning to me. And I remember I wrote my brother Robin that I heard his song in Vietnam. So that was a pretty cool story.
It is cool. Did you ever get leave there? I mean, did they ever send?
Yes.
You did?
You get 1 week off. It's called R&R.
Okay.
And the R&R, rest and relaxation.
Yeah.
I was going to go to Thailand, but something was wrong with the plane, so I went to Australia.
Really?
I wasn't in an American unit. I was in a Vietnamese infantry unit. So I was with Vietnamese, South Korean troops, Aussies. They wore their hats up the side. New Zealanders. I very rarely saw American units with the guys around me, but it was all Vietnamese, and I was able to communicate to some degree with them. I got to know them as people. I loved their culture. Yeah. They were wonderful to the old people. Yeah. They took them they had little shanties. I mean, some of them didn't have running water. They had to go in monsoon rains were brutal over there. They had mud, and then they had to plant all their rice and so forth, and they had water buffaloes. I mean, for a kid 19 or 20 years old, it was quite an eye-opener from West Newton.
Right, yeah.
To see these things. And then after it got so hot after the rain, the bugs would come out. Yeah. And the bugs were brutal. And we used to take these, like a hydroxychloroquine, which is a quinine. Yeah. And we took that to stave off malaria. And some of the guys in the unit did get malaria.
Did you ever get it?
No, I did not. No. I took the pills. If these guys didn't take the pills, some of them did get it. And they were friends of mine. Wow. And they had to put them in the hospital ships out in the bay. So those guys, they were really bad off. Wow. And again, they were all buddies. This day I don't communicate with any of the folks I was with, because my world is different.
Yeah, overnight. If you got sick, if you did get sick, I mean, I don't mean having to go on a hospital ship, but let's say you wake up and you have the flu or you have a bad cold. Did you get time off for that?
No.
No,
not my unit.
No,
you gutted it out. If you did get really, really sick, and one of those side effects of the quinine pill or whatever was diarrhea. It was nausea and diarrhea. Oh, God. But that was showing it was working. I mean, however that works, it worked. And anybody that was in Vietnam knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. So, no, you did what you had to do. And if you were in the field in the infantry humping and you didn't feel good, you pretty much had to do your job. And then when you went back, if you were running a fever or something, you wouldn't have to go out on a mission. Yeah,
but you had to continue, march on. I want to talk about your, when we talked about this, you did, how many of these, the first round?
I have 8 of them.
8.
I put those up. I wanted to honor these men and their families, to not forget that these men came from Newton, Massachusetts. They were just like any one of you that's viewing this program now. These people that, like Ginny was saying, riding the bike, Richard Likely. We had so many wonderful guys, and the research I've done to find these men and the pictures. Newton North, their graphics department was just wonderful. Tom Donnellan and Miss Minnis, they're the lady. And the kids over there, they were giving part of themselves to do this. And they don't talk too much about the military in Newton North. No. We used to, but we don't anymore.
Right. We used to have an All-American Day.
We did, All-American Day.
Which unfortunately was canceled.
It was canceled, and we're trying to get back in.
Maybe Mayor Mark will
take I think
Mark and look at it.
The new superintendent. I think we'll get back in there and talk to the kids. So. Yeah. But this gentleman here, I sat down with his family in their living room, and they've never been the same. I mean, losing a loved one like this. I mean, and over the years, you lose your family in car accidents or
Yeah.
different ways of your demise. But in a war, it
different.
takes on a different category. And James, he was a PFC, and he was only there a couple of months, and he was gone. And all these guys that, like Ginny was explaining about, these folks that we get to know when we go around the memorial service on Memorial Day.
Yeah.
We go at 10 o'clock. We go to the cemeteries, and then we honor them at the bridges. And their families are there. They're old now.
That's
Some
right.
are in wheelchairs and so forth.
Yes.
But they never forget how the youth that these boys were, and they don't have their families.
Forever young. Forever young.
Yeah.
And you're right. They come out. And that's Sunday, the 24th
Yep. At 10 o'clock.
at 10 o'clock. It starts at Post 440. First one we do is actually
No, we're down there at 9 o'clock.
9
At the
o'clock.
Post 440.
And then we go to, the first one we go to is actually Richard
Forte,
Joseph Forte
right.
Park.
Yep.
We allow everybody to speak, all family members may
Yeah.
speak. We're gonna run out of time. I'm looking at, you were in Vietnam from 1964?
69 to 70,
Oh,
1970.
Wow. Just a not just, but a 1 year, and then.
Yeah, 1 year.
1 year, and then you
Yep.
got to come home.
I came home.
I wish
I was drafted. That was 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years, that's right. And then, so you have, can you just list your medals? I don't want you to have to go into detail, but just list them. You served
well-
this country, Kevin. Thank you so much. You served in a time when the big fear was the communists are coming for us. They still are, but
Yeah.
you served in a time when it was very visible.
This is this medal here. This is for the honorable service in Vietnam. It, I just did what I did. I wasn't no John Wayne. This here, they said I was a good marksman. I don't know. They put up items out in the field and you shoot it. And I really wasn't a good marksman, but I guess I shot down more than the other guy beside me. This is for expert. I guess I shot a little bit more than those ones. This was my Vietnam medal that I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
That was near and dear to me. And we had a couple of problems over there where my unit was under attack at one point. And I had to do something that was a little extraordinary. And they came through and gave me this here. It was a Bronze Star.
Wow.
And I felt like I really didn't deserve that because a lot of guys did a lot of things there that were over and above. But, I think they give these things out pretty easily.
No,
but,
I don't think
and
they
these
do.
here, these ribbons, they're the Vietnam ribbons.
Wow.
And the service, the length of time, so forth. I was a specialist. I was working with Morse code and deciphering coded messages with making A's into T's and T's into B's and so forth.
And that jacket still fits you?
It still fits me. The buttons, one popped off, but I think I can get that back if I lose a few pounds.
I can fix it for you, by the way. I'll sew it back on. Now you've taken in it as your life is just, it's an incredible life, and someday we'll talk about your life. You could write a book, and you should write a book. But does the memory ever leave you?
Vietnam?
Yeah. When you're out
No,
running,
I don't know
leaving.
if my world is so busy with my grandchildren and my world and what I do. I don't have time to dwell on things. Jenny, I'd do it again. I would do it if I was to be called now. I'm 77 years old. I would put this darn thing back on and try to protect the country that I love. I think it gets a bad rap, whether it be in the universities, people demonstrating about all the stuff you see. Chill out.
Yeah.
Chill out.
Yeah.
We're a great country.
Yeah.
We've got great kids.
Yeah.
And we try to think that we're so important. I tell the kids in Newton North, you are important to yourself and to your mother and father.
Yes.
After that, it goes way down. I mean, right beside me, a friend of mine was shot.
Yeah.
And he survived, and I went to see him in Saigon, in Long Bien Hospital. And anybody that was in Vietnam knows about that. It was a Connex, and hundreds and hundreds of people with saline, and it was just a surreal scene. But he survived, and Rick Gainsforth was his name, and he went back to Bakersfield, California.
Wow.
I kept in touch with some of these guys for a while, but it was what it was. It was the times, and I would do it again in a heartbeat.
You know, you made a comment. I was giving scholarships over the weekend, and part of what I said to these unbelievable scholars as they go forward with your life, they're 18 years old. I said, remember one thing, faith and family and your country, and no one is ever going to love you the way your mother did. So, you know, remember Mother's Day, and remember, no one will ever love you like your mom.
There's one last thing I'll leave you with, Jenny.
Okay.
A priest came in to hear a confession, and because we knew we were going to get hit really bad one night, and we were filling sandbags and trying to protect ourselves. And he listened to our confession, and I sat down beside him because I had gone to confession all my life. Haven't lately, but he said, "Are you okay with what you've been through right now and what might come?" I said, "Yeah, I am. I can accept it." He said, "Do you want to get anything off your chest?" I said, "Not with you." I mean, I'm not a choir boy. And that's about it.
Well, for the record, if you picked up a gun to defend this country, women can serve right now.
Good.
I'm going to be 74. I'd stand right next to you,
Yeah,
shoulder
I know
to
you
shoulder
would.
with you, Kevin, because you know what? Thank you so much for your service. You would do it again. That speaks volumes. And I think in so many ways you've touched so many lives. And with this project, this is incredible. And I understand right now you're not taking donations.
No.
But at some point, if you ever do, come back on. And we sign up for the first donation for you, Kevin.
Thank you.
And I will see you on Memorial Day weekend,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes, you will.
And we will, again, honor our veterans who all of them gave part of their life, and their families gave part of their life for this country, and we must never forget. So with that, I leave you. Join us next time. Bye-bye.